Gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. This is we click here. Please, someone give me some feedback whether or not the audio and so on is good and the video is good. Just give me the thumbs up. Give me a message in chat. Just let me know. So today we are going to do an unboxing of a laser from Jinmitsu, which is out via SainSmart, right? So but I want to make sure that everything's working first of all. So please, someone give me the thumbs up or a little word in chat to let me know everything's good. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if people get in and come online. Now, so what we're actually going to cover is, I want to give another shout out as well before we get going, but let's see if everyone gives me some feedback in chat. I'm looking over here because my chat screen's here. Anybody? Just say yes, audio is good, yes, video is good. Just someone type that in chat, let me know, please. No? Okay, not getting any of the... Oh, Audra Murphy, how are you? Good. Welcome from Texas. Travis, thank you for giving me the okay on the audio and the video. Excellent. Okay, I just want to make sure everything's good before we get going. So, as I said, today we are going to do a live unboxing of this Jinmitsu. Let me look at the name of it to make sure I can enunciate it correct. Jinmitsu Jinsoku single arm laser engravers. It's the LE-1620, and the 1620 represents its dimensions. So it's 16 wide and 16 centimeters by 20 centimeters wide is the area it can engrave. Now you're also going to be wondering, why do I have these little toys up here on top of the model? Right? Let me explain. Let me actually just go straight into the close-up cam on this. So we have these little flexi T-Rexes and dolphins and so on, and this little train. Now there's other models involved, and the reason why I'm showing these, I need to give a big shout out. The U.S. Marine Reserve, the U.S. Marine Reserves, every year do a Toys for Tots program where they raise money to buy toys for underprivileged kids, so they have something for Christmas. Now there's a 3D printing company in Columbus, Ohio called IC3D, and some of you have probably heard me talking about them before. And anybody who went out who were at the Rep Rap Festival would have actually met them there. And what they do, a couple of years ago, they got involved in the program. And at first, they reached out to local makers and they offered to buy them printers if they would print toys for them. And then, but it got really popular very quickly. So in the first year, they bought some printers for some makers to print toys. And the second year, so many people wanted to get involved that they said, okay, we can't afford to give people printers, so how about you use your printers, but we'll give you free materials. And they've been doing this for a couple of years. And basically what they do is, you sign up, if you get accepted into it, they ship you the materials you need. Some of you who are already signed up would have put your name in and would have gotten an email probably yesterday or the day before to notify you that you've been accepted into this year's program. And basically what you do is, at the end of this month, they will ship those people who have been selected, either PLA or PTG, whichever your preference material was. They'll ship it to you, and you'll use it to print toys. Now, these are only a sample of it. Now, also a shout out to the designers of these models. They freely allow IC3D to use these for this program, right? So, not only is the U.S. Marine Reserves involved in doing this, but we have local companies here in the U.S. that are doing it, and we also have a lot of makers and the designers are freely offering their designs for use in this program. So big shout out to everybody who's involved in this program and anybody who has been accepted. Kudos to you guys. Let's see. Hey Mylan, how are you? So a big kudos to all of you guys for getting involved in this program. I've started printing early. I have material that I have available, so I started doing some prints early because I don't get the IC3D material till the end of the month, but I have extra material, so I'm going to start using it. But it's a huge thing, and it gives kids, come Christmas, who are underprivileged, toys, such as these flexible dolphins, little train sets, and there's other models. I haven't printed them yet, but these are just an example of some of the models. And all you need is a well-tuned machine to give you decent quality prints. If you look at that one, that's good quality. So let's go back to the 2-in-1. So they're nice little prints. They're as long as you get good quality prints off your printer, you're good. And they also often do an option of regional hubs where people can ship stuff to a regional hub, and then that person at the regional hub will then get it down to IC3D, who then get it down to the US Marines reserves. So just want to give a shout out before I get going, because this is a fantastic program, and we as makers, we give a lot to the community. So this is just another way of us giving back to the community, but we actually have backing of a company who's actually willing to provide us the material to do so. Right? Hey Jason, how are you? So let me clear these off and we'll start working on the printer. Or sorry, on the laser. Let's get these, let's put these into their box. And then we'll start talking about why we're really here. Sorry, have to give kudos to a group like that. So, laser. Now I've done some other lasers. I've done some larger lasers and so on. This is a nice little desktop laser. If you want to get started, it's a good machine. And I haven't tested it yet, but hasn't even opened the box. But going by its size, it's an easy machine to transport. So you're not dealing with a larger laser that has to be moved around. So it has a lot of benefits based on the size. But let's get it unboxed. Hey Nadav, how are you? How's things all the way over there in Israel? So, as I said, this is the Jinmitsu. Let's go back to the main camera for now. This is the Jinsoku single arm LE-1620 laser engraving machine, and it's a 5.5 watt. Now, I have confirmed with them. Looks like an open frame. Yes, it is an open frame. Yes, but it's I've confirmed it. The 5.5 watt is the output, not the input. So they have confirmed for me that it is the output. So therefore, it's probably a 20 watt in and a 5 watt out is my guess. That's what the average is for the diode lasers. If your input 20 watts, your output 5. If you input 15, your output is probably 3 or 4 watts. And then if your input is 10 watts, your output is probably about 1.5. Actually, I wouldn't say it's not safe. You do have to take precautions about those. You're right. Okay, there you go. Are you happy, Chris? Yeah, I forgot to move the calendar. Chris's OCD is kicking in. So I wouldn't say it's not safe. I would say yes, you have to be cautious. And I would always say that when you're using lasers, anybody who's in the room with you needs to wear protective glasses. And it's not that you're going to be shining the laser around everywhere, but it's more of the reflective light, which is why you always have protective glasses, right? I always have some. I have a couple of lasers here, and I have different protective glasses depending on the laser. Like the one for my CO2 laser is a different type of material, different rating. So they can be safe if you take the necessary precautions. You're happy, so Chris is happy. Okay, then we're all happy. So let's get it open. Let's see what's inside. I don't have a mobile camera. I'm using this camera mounted in front of me, the close-up cam, which is going to be here, so we can do the unboxing and you can see the details of what's inside. So let's get it opened up. Safety first, second, and third. I agree. I 100% agree with you. So, let's see what's in the box. First thing you open, you get their manual. So let's have a quick look at their manual. Oh, there's more than one, actually. So we have the user manual, which goes through nice diagrams of what's involved, what's in the box, how to set it up. Actually, they have some. I think these are probably links to do some settings, and you have the links you can actually what you need to do for rotary. They do come with safety glasses, so that's a bonus. This is for your laser distance, and then it walks you through the setup of the laser. Which is very detailed by the looks of things. And they have online tutorial guides, and then it goes on to German. Okay, so that's our quick start guide. And then we have you get a free subscription card to Carveco. Now, I'm not going to show because there's a QR code in it, but you get a free subscription card to Carveco, which is a really good, it's a carving software. Now, I don't know why I'd use Carveco on a laser. It's probably it's more for CNC, but you get a subscription for Carveco. Let's put that aside, and let's go back to our tool-in-one, and let's see what's inside the box. So, unbox this. Trash. Oh, knocked something over. So we have our x-axis with an adjustable Z. The Z height can be adjusted here. We have our pretty much fully assembled more foam y-axis. So there's no real work to do on that. And then let's see what's inside. So, safety glasses. Yes, safety is always first. And second, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and you can keep going. Always be careful when you're dealing with lasers. We have some test material, which is some MDF board. More foam. Everything's well packed in foam. We have some bolts and zip ties to put everything together. A USB cable to connect it to our computer. Our SainSmart laser head. Our USB key and the aluminum block to do your Z height for focusing the laser, because it's a fixed focus laser. Interesting. An erasable felt tip pen. And finally, about a US 2-pin, not 3-pin, and an EU 2-pin round power supply, power cable that goes into your power supply. So instead of deciding which one is which in UK or US or Europe, not UK, this is for Europe, this does not cover the UK. So it's Europe or US, they just combine them into one. And that's everything. So let's get rid of this box. Yes, even though I throw everything over there, I do clean up afterwards. So let's see. Let's get out our manual. So I'm going to use the instructions. And we're going to go through the x-axis, just make sure everything's here. Laser module, M530s, M3 6mm, zip ties, power line, and then after that it is material. And everything, I don't know what the pen is for, and there, but everything else seems to be there. So let's get this assembled, right? So we have our y-axis. And I'm assuming it's this way because to hold the weight of the cantilever, because it's cantilever design. Our x-axis, and we have some bolts. So let's get this unpacked. We won't use them all, we never do, but let's get them all out there. These are anti-skid legs, I believe. We have 3 long bolts and 5 short bolts. So let's use the instructions So place the y-axis on the table, take two M530s and insert them into the x-axis module. So here's the x-axis module. There's two holes right here. So we put our bolts in here. And we just bolt it straight down. I'll bring this closer to you so you can see. That does not fit. This is the right one. I have it lined up right? I didn't. I'm doing it all the way over here so you can see it on the other camera, so you can see it on the close-up as well. So that's that bolted in place. Fairly simple, nice design. It doesn't seem to, okay, it reaches as far as there, okay. So the end stop is down here. Here, it's triggering the end stop, and then there's an end stop here also. So the motion systems are V-slot wheels. Yes, there are 4 on the y-axis, and it's on 2040 extrusion, and there are 4 on the x-axis, and that's on 2020 extrusion. And the y-axis, the x-axis motor is here on top, and it's belted, and then the y-axis is actually also belted, the motor is actually here on the back. So we got that assembled. Nice, simple. So we have, these are for belt tension screws. You can actually loosen those to adjust your belt tension if you need to. We have the same. So let me show you here. Here's the belt tension for your x-axis, and your y-axis tensioner is actually right here. You can loosen this and pull it back to tighten up. Let's see what else they want me to do. Okay, this is assigning those together. Talk about identifying which is which. Shouldn't be, that is not hard. Install a laser module and anti-skid rubber pads that go under the leg. Okay, so let's get this opened up. Hey Jerry, how are you? You just woke up. Well, you are in Vegas, so time difference and so on. Let's empty. Oh, don't want that on the shelf. If it goes on the shelf, it stays on the shelf, right? So, this then gets attached to the laser, and I'm going to have to do this over here with me. But the laser gets attached to here using the screw. So I'm going to bring it over close to me, so it's going to be much easier for me to do so. Okay, take care, Chris. Have a good day. So as I said, this is a 5.5 watt, and that's the actual output, not the input. So you should be able to do some light cutting with this if it's 5 watt output, 5.5 watt output. Now it might vary a little. It might be 5 or it might be slightly less than 5 or slightly more than 5.5. The output is slightly, it's not precisely a 5.5, but they rarely are. I could be wrong, but generally they're rarely, there's a little bit of leniency there. It's normally closer to 5, between 5 and 5.5 on average. But it's enough to actually do, at 5 watts of a diode laser, it's enough to do some light cutting, such as you could cut card, you could probably cut some very, very thin ply, like 1/8 inch ply or 1/16 inch, or no, probably not 1/8, 1/16 inch ply. 1/16, that's 3 millimeters for the rest of the world. And you can actually do that, so, but it'll be slow because you're cutting. And then if you can jerry rig up an air assist for yourself, it actually helps. So let's get this attached. Let's see. Everyone's saying later to Chris. Okay, that's done. Next we have to attach some cables. Oh, they want me to attach these little rubber legs to the undercarriage. So let me flip it up on its side. Oh no, actually on its back it'll be safer. And on the legs here, there's these little raised in the acrylic, these little raised areas. They want you to put these little pads, non-slip pads, over the legs so it doesn't slide around the table. It gives it more stability. So let's do that. These are always so hard to peel off. So how is everyone doing out there on this Saturday morning? I know Jerry just woke up, but how's everyone else doing? It started out, my morning started out with thunderstorms this morning. Not much, but a little bit of a thunderstorm this morning. And it's supposed to be cloudy today and tomorrow, so I'm not going to have any really nice clear skies or not much sunshine over the next few days. But around middle of next week is supposed to clear up. Sorry, these are so hard to peel off. They're not made for people. They're made for people with nails, and I don't got any, so my nails are always kept short, so it's really hard for me to peel stuff. Okay, done. Yeah, actually, that makes a big difference. So let's see. Those legs are on. So this anti-skid legs are on. Wire connection for the stepper motor. So they're saying there is a stepper motor here that has to be connected. This is already done. The laser has to be connected, and I'm sure the laser goes onto the main board somewhere. So there's two cables here actually on the laser. So let's see which goes where. Connect the stepper motor according to the line of the stepping motor of the x-axis. Well, I'm assuming that this is the cable that goes in here. It's the only one that will fit in that area. Okay, there's two boards. There's two cables that go onto the laser. Connect the laser head and cooling fan to the laser head module as shown in the figure. So, if you don't actually plug the laser and the cooling fan into the board here, you actually plug it in to the underside. There's a little board here on the underside. I don't know if you can see that there. Into this board. Oh, sorry, I should do the 2-in-1. There. There's a little board here, and this is where your cables plug in for your laser. I like to bring it over the top, and the instructions are the red and black go by the cap. There's a little capacitor there, so the red and black go by the capacitor. And then the other one goes on over here, which is probably the cooling fan. And after all of that, that's it. That's your assembly done. So it's Jason. It's nice 80s here morning. Oh, it's warm outside. Don't get me wrong. It's actually nice weather, warm weather. It's just we had rain during the night and it's damp. But that's the assembly done, guys. That's it. You have the I would probably bring that little cable. Actually, there's ties. There's ties over here. So let me tie this in place. I want to tidy up this cable so it's raised up out of the way when the laser moves. It doesn't impact the wheels. And there's housings there for it to be put in place. Well, Jason, you're in Vegas, right? So that's why it's always hot in Vegas, pretty much. I need to get my snips. And done. That's our setup. Nice and easy. So we have our x-axis, which moves freely. Our y-axis, so that cable. Oh, I have to move that cable. Okay. Our y-axis, so our x-axis, our y-axis, our x and y are all moving cleanly. So we're up and running. Hey Matt, how are you? So now, depending on what you're printing on, now I'm not going to burn onto my desk. So I brought a piece of wood to burn on because I would like my desk to be intact when I'm done. So I just mount that, just stick that on top of the piece of wood, so what I burn is here, just in case. And now we need to set up power. So let's see what else is happening here. So as I said, this is a 5-watt laser. It's very, very easy to set up. The setup is done already, right? It's pretty much, there's a handful of bolts to put together. Let me see what I have my power. This comes with a little bit of a power brick, so I just need to get it plugged in. And I'm going to run this through its paces this week. Oh, just so you know, if anyone's interested, they have Jinmitsu, or sorry, forgive me, SainSmart have a sale going on right now. It's their 10-year anniversary. I'm going to turn that this way so it's easier for everybody else to see. It fits better that way. So they have a 10-year anniversary sale going on right now. Just to let you know if anyone is interested. There's a link to this laser in the description if you're interested in looking it up. So it's a 1620, but they do have a sale going on right now because it's their 10-year anniversary. And they have some pretty good deals out there, I think. That's if you were looking for either a laser like this, or if you're looking for CNCs and so on. And they're offering some good deals. Those who are, I know some people out there have the 3018 CNCs. They actually have upgrade kits for your 3018s and so on, up to a 4030, and then upgrade again to your 4030 to a 6060s. So they do have those out there, and I'm going to plug in the USB cable again to the board back here. just so everybody can see it, there's a board. You should be able to see it in the close-up cam. There is a test fire button, and this is also the reset button as well. So it's an easy enough to set up. The board is easily accessible right here. It's just an acrylic cover. So I'm going to put it on this because I want to. I don't want to burn my desk, just in case stuff goes awry. So let's power on. When it powers on, the cooling fan for the laser is always on. Now, to focus it, you need this little round aluminum block, because it is a fixed focus. You cannot adjust the focus of it. And you focus it between the piece you're engraving, and I'm going to use one of these MDF pieces, and the frame of the laser, not the lens. You basically put this underneath, and you wind this down till it touches. Now you're in focus. Nice and simple. So, let's see. Let me get this connected to my computer. So I have over USB cable here. I have a USB hub. So 1 second, let me plug this into my USB hub. Let's do it back. I hope I don't disconnect anything in the process. That's a good sign. Everyone heard a little ding. So let's see what they say on their instructions about getting it set up, because I want to make sure I follow what they say. So it says about focusing. It tells you about how to focus. In the you probably see there in the instruction manual. It's actually, the laser is not fired, so I don't need to say. I don't need to, the laser is actually not on. When you turn it on, the laser is actually off. You need to hit the fire button, or you need to activate the laser for it to come on. So there is actually no laser beam on. So it's off by default until it's triggered. Then it gives you machine debugging and so on. Now they do have separate documentation, which is online, where they guide you to setting it up. And their safety glasses are red. Mine are, for most diode lasers, are green, but that's okay. Dusty. Hey Stephen, how are you? Let me get these glasses to fit. If they'll adjust. Try the other side. Just the side. Yeah, just the side. Okay. How about wearing rose-colored glasses, huh? So let's do a test to make sure it fires first of all. So I'm going to hit the test button, which is over here. So it did fire. I hope. Let me see if it shows up. I'm not going to look at it this time. I'm going to see if it shows up in the screen. Everyone see this fire? Yeah? You should be able to see it on the close-up. It's not a blue laser, it's actually a red. Actually, it is a blue laser, right? So it does fire. So we know that works. So I need to go into Lightburn and link Lightburn to this. Let me do a bit of dumping out the trash. Actually, let's see what's on the USB stick. My guess is they have various software in there. Let's hope again I don't disconnect anything. Let's see if it shows up. That's a good sign. The USB drive. Okay, so it comes with the drivers to talk to it. It comes with a copy of Lightburn, but you have to pay for Lightburn. It comes with some test code and some test pictures. So will we do it? So let me know what you want to do. A test code, or test pictures where we can set it up ourselves. I need to get a ruler. Just 1 second. I need to get a ruler to measure these boards. I think they're 4 inches. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, so we do a when their test codes is pre-done. Let's do their test codes because they have a couple of images in there. Let's see what images they have. Oh, that's too dark. An aeroplane. Test photo you want? Okay, so test photo I'll have to configure it myself with the right settings. But actually, there's some nice designs in there though. Let me find a nice one. So let's see what they have. Okay, that's too simple. That's only a dark outline, a plane. Let's do a rose. How about a rose? Actually, let me share my screen. That would be easier too. Let me do a screen share. That will take me out of the view, but I can bring it up temporarily. There. So these are the images that are available on it, right? So there's a couple of different images here. You have the SainSmart logo, which is a lot of black, and anything that's black in Lightroom is burned. So that means most of it's going to be black. We have a little interlocking design. We have the black wolf, again it's all black. We have a rose, again mostly blacked out, so it's going to be not a lot of detail in that one. This is an outline vector design. This is we have a plane, we have a rose, we have a more complex design, and then this is actually designed for a burn, so for cutting. Now they didn't give any sample materials to do cutting with, so I can't do a cutting on this material. It's too thick. I could do a. Let me go back to the 2-in-1. So I can't do it on this material because this is way too thick. You cannot cut this. It will do, as I said, 1/16 or 1/32 of ply. It will do on. So everyone wants a test photo, or anyone else have an opinion, because they have some already pre-done test code, and it's all about just setting power and speed, right? Anybody else other than Stephen or Jason? Okay, so Jason wants to vote the rose outline. And the rose outline is a nice image. So that's image 7. You vote the rose outline. Okay, so image 7. There we go. Now, so let me get rid of this. Okay, so let me check the size of this to make sure I have the dimensions right. This is in millimeters. It's 100 by 100. Okay, nice and easy. So I just need to get the image, and it's already sized to 100 by 100. Now, the one thing I do believe in this laser, I believe instead of starting point being on the corner, is there's a start point in the center. So I'm going to do a frame without the laser being on to see how it looks, okay? And actually, before I do that, let me do one other thing. I'm going to go over to my cuts and layers. First of all, let me make sure that's on the wrong one. So let me go to my devices, find my laser. Let's see if it auto finds it. It does. There we go. Okay, add device. The front, it's actually on the front right, so it's down here. Okay. I believe that's correct. Let's leave it as it is for now. And we'll choose, okay. And we'll choose that other machine. And right click. And let's see if it connects to it. No. Okay, let me see. German rose. Yeah, okay, rose. Everyone wants a rose. Okay, so let's see. On this COM port. Connected. It's moving slowly, but that's okay. Homed. Okay, so let's do a frame to see if we're in the right position without the laser being on first of all. Oh, okay, that's a bit of a problem. I want to change something here, guys. I want to change something here because I put the cable in a bad spot and I need to bring the cable around in the outside, above it. Easy enough to do, but I don't like where it is. Why we're doing this live, right? So we all learn. So we learn. I just didn't like the way the laser was dragging on the piece. I'd rather have it over to the side out of the way. There. So let's try this again. Actually, this board is a really good test size. So, turn it on. See if it's powered up. We'll do a test to make sure the laser is on. Why is that laser on? Okay, the laser was on. Sorry, I didn't see that. So we're going to do, without the laser on, I'm going to do a frame so we can get you roughly in the right area. And in here, in the settings, it's set for, that's probably a bit high. So let's see, we'll do a frame. There's no laser firing, so it's over here. That size is all off. Okay, that's why it's too big. So I'm going to set it to 100. I was looking at the percentage by mistake. By 100. Now let's try the frame again. See where it stops, to where it starts to turn. There we go. That looks better. So that's a bit too wide. I'm going to shrink this down a bit more because I want to make sure it fits. 80 by 80. Okay. I want to make sure it fits on it. Let's try that again. One more frame to make sure we're good. So we're burning there. Good on that side, down here. I think we're in a good spot where it's at. What do you think, guys? So you got lucky. So Stephen, you won $200 store credit or a printer of my choice from TH3D. Very nice. That's a nice prize. That's a really nice prize. Congratulations. By the way, just so you know, guys, by this coming week, if FedEx is true and honest to its delivery time, I may have another printer for next weekend, so we'll talk about that later on. Well, that's nice, Stephen. Excellent. So, what are you going to choose? That's the question. So, let's turn around and let's change the settings on this first of all. This is set for a very high speed at a power of 90%. So, I'm going to drop the power. I'm going to drop the power on to 60% to see how it goes, and I'm going to set the speed down to pick out a printer. Very nice. Very good. Nice. Let us know what you choose. I'm going to set that down to about 2,000. And I'm going to do at 60%. Actually, that should be okay. So because that's moving pretty fast. If not, we can adjust it. And instead of doing Jarvis, I'm going to set it to. Actually, I'm not even going to do Grayscale because this is going to be set to do a line. It's set in the image, but I'm going to do one thing to this image. I'm going to right click on the image and I'm going to trace the outline of the image. Right? So instead of doing a fill, I'm actually going to do a line cut on this image. So I'm going to frame it once more because I moved the image around a little bit. Okay, I think we're good there. So, glasses on. And I hope everyone can see. Make sure it's in the close-up camera. You can see. Right. So let's get this thing burning and see how it goes. You ready? With the settings, it should be okay, I believe, for line. Actually, no. When I changed it to line, it dropped it down. So I'm going to go speed, because I'm not doing a cut. I'm doing a speed of 800 at a percentage of 60. So I'm going to do a vector. I'm going to do. Okay, let's see how that works. If not, we can adjust it because it's learning, right? Live stream 1 p.m. Pacific for Jerry. Yeah, I'll be there, Jerry. You know I will. So let's play and let's see if actually this does hit start and see if this does engrave. Start. I think we got the settings pretty good. Everyone can see, I hope. Take my glass one from the screen. It's a bit blinding, I know, but it actually is engraving. Let me see if I have another pair of glasses. Let me go over here. And I'm going to give my camera glasses. I hope that filters out most of the glare of the light. So it is engraving and it's doing a decent job. Okay, take the glasses back. Did that help? Were you able to see the laser? Just let me know because it's actually doing a decent job. Now I did fairly slow. And I did a medium power. I could always go a bit faster with a higher power. And depending on how the burn is, if I want it lighter, I could actually increase the speed without changing the power. It's a balance, right? It's a balance between how fast you move and how much power you have out of your laser, right? That's what you have to balance. And they do have a guide online with all the different settings. So you're looking for something around 250. Yeah, you might get a nice. There are pinners out there for that, so you should actually. Yeah, IC3D. That's a nice deal. And the nice thing about it is, Tim doesn't sell anything that he doesn't test. Everything you get out of that you buy from not IC3D, TH3D, is tested by Tim and his guys. They use it for a while before they sell it. They refuse to sell anything that actually hasn't been tested by them and hasn't been put through its paces. Okay, laser is off, glasses are off. Lots of smoke because we burned a lot. It burned pretty deep. What do you guys think? Good, bad, vote, guys. I think it looks pretty good. Oh, by the way, guys, while you're out there, don't forget to get the subscribe and the like button. Those thumbs up help the channel, so please hit those thumbs up, please. And don't forget to subscribe also if you haven't already subscribed. Do so. So let's try one more thing. It does look good, and that's only an outline now. I'm sure we could do. Let's see if there's any vector images. Vector images take a little bit more time, but. So let's see. I don't think there's any vector. There might be something in the pre-made files. I'm not sure. So it came out pretty good. So let's try. What else do they have here? See, that's a cutting. I don't want to do a cutting one because it creates way too much smoke. Let's try a more intricate one. How about that, guys? So let's take this image and drag it into Lightburn. I like using Lightburn. And we'll get rid of this. And we'll bring this image over, and we're going to size it down to 80 again, because I don't want it too big, because this is very large. So we're going to set it to 80 by, okay, the aspect ratio is locked. Okay, that's 80 by 80. And I'm also going to do the same, because I'm going to trace the outside of the image, because I want to get the outline. And so let's see how that looks. Okay, looks good. And it's a more complex design. Oh, for those of you who are not used to Lightburn, one thing about Lightburn is the way it zooms is weird when you use a scroll wheel. So if you want to scroll, if you want to zoom in here in the bottom, you bring your mouse below it and you scroll in to where you want. So if you want to go to the center or something, you put a mouse in the center, right? So, but if it's off center, like in this case, when I zoom in the center, it's off center. I just go above that and I zoom in, and that'll actually bring it into center, right? So your mouse position actually dictates whether you're going to scroll above something or below something or left or right. I have a hard time with shading on my home-built laser. Well, what type of laser is it? And what type of board is it using? Like, is it a PWM, a pulse width modulation laser, or not? Because pulse width modulation lasers, like PWM lasers, especially full duty cycle is the best ones, right? Because otherwise it'll burn out easier. If you, first of all, when you're doing your shading, if let's say we're going to change this to fill, as the example, right? And we're not going to, but we'll do the fill. And when you go into your settings in using Lightburn, if you're using Lightburn, you have options. Let's see, is it in here? No, I have to bring in an image. Let me bring the image back in again. 1 second. I'll show you an example. Yes, so let's say there's the image there. Right? And if I have that image and I'm going to do an image, if I double click here, you have the option to do different types of encoding. Now, if you have pulse width modulation, you can vary the power of the laser as it burns. You have the option in here to where is it here? To do overscanning, but also to vary your output, right? Because what I would do in your case, if you want to do a good image, if you can vary the laser power, like in a CO2 laser, you can't vary that easy without a Gerbil board. Like this has a Gerbil board in it. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to set it to grayscale. Now, before you bring an image into your laser, you're better off to use some tools like Photoshop or something to grayscale and dither the image, because that creates it in a series of pixels, right? And then when you're burning it will actually burning a series of dots, and the amount of time it spends on each dot will vary. But if you have a Gerbil board, you can do grayscaling, which will actually vary the tone based on it. Now, and if you also need to make sure that you don't set your laser power too high, because everything is a percentage of its highest power. So if I'm burning a dark line and have it set at 100%, everything is a variation of 100%. So 50% of that for a grayscale area like this area here might be too high in the material you're burning. So there is some test files out there that you can get, that you run them through, that you can get and you run them using grayscale. This option here, grayscale, and by doing so, it'll tell you can see the different shades, and it'll tell you what power you want. So if you want something to be lightly singed, so it's only a light tan color, and so that's the setting you want to use for that area. Okay, so it's a bit of testing and playing based on each material type. Like this type of plywood here uses one setting. This will use a completely different setting. Paper or card or canvas or leather, and even the type of leather and the color of the leather all vary. So like a light color material might need a higher setting. A dark color material may need a heavier setting. Or if you're doing it on hardwood like mahogany or teak or oak or something along those lines, you might need to use a higher setting or slow down your laser. And on really soft woods like balsa or something like that, you want to move fast and you want a low power, because otherwise you're going to end up burning through. It's a bit of a testing game, and what I recommend is get different materials, test them, and But if you're using Lightburn, I don't know if you're using Lightburn. In Lightburn, you can actually you can vary the power based on its movement, right? And you can set the number of passes, and there's a lot of things you can do. But it's a playing and testing game. If you give me details about the laser you're using, drop me a message, and I can see what options and the board you're using for your home built laser. But if it's a Gerbil board, you should be able to control it if it's a PWM laser that you're using. But it is testing on the material. As I said, what works for mahogany or teak or Oroku or some other the other hardwoods would be way too high a setting for pine. So you use Lightburn. Yeah, so I would recommend you use grayscaling first of all to get good shading. If you don't, it's just going to burn black. And make sure when you bring the image in, you grayscale the image ideally if you can before you bring it in or when you bring it in, so there's good shade changes, and tweak your contrast settings and so on, so you have the right change, a variation in the darkness of the area. It is a tweak. It does take time. It's practice is basically what it is on the material specifically that you're using. So that worked out. So let's go back. Let's come out of here and let's get rid of this image. We don't want this image. Oh, one other thing to learn about Lightburn, right? The order of the images here of whatever you set up here is the order of burn. So if I do one is a fill, and then the next one, if I do a clone of it, and I do the clone, which is an outline, which is a burn, and I set this from fill to line, it'll first do the fill, then it'll do the line. So the order that they're displayed up here is the order it will do your work. So if you have more than one part, the order they're displayed on that list is the way they'll engrave them. So it's one way of getting engraving in different ways on different parts of the board in a specific order, or doing the fill first and then doing the outline later on to clean up the outline. So let me get rid of that, and I'm going to change this back from fill to a line because I do not, or I can do fill and line, but I don't want that. I just want to do the line because it's nice and clean on the outside. So let's zoom in again and let's see how it looks. So that's what we're going to burn this time. So we're going to do a frame to make sure we're in the right place. We do frame. There's no laser on. If you want to do the frame with the laser on, you can actually hold down your shift key and hit frame, and the laser will come on at 5%. So I can show you that. To me, that's why I'm giving you a guide. So you shift and frame, and you see the laser is on as it's framing the part. Now it's on very low. So that's pretty good. An old Ender 3 board, Congo laser, home built frame. So it's an Ender 3 board. Okay, with the Ender 3 board, you're not using, it's not normal Gerbil control. You're actually creating G code. So what you're doing there is, do you have it connected to the fan output? And if the right fan, it needs to be the fan that controls the airflow across your nozzle to cool down your part. If you use the front facing fan on that board, you're going to get 100% power all the time because it's cooling the heat block. The board, the one that's on the side, the laser should be plugged into the fan connection that is the part cooling fan, because that's pulse width modulation port, and it can actually vary the speed of the fan, so it uses the varying speed of that in the same way as it uses that same speed to vary the speed of your laser. So if you're in the front fan, you're running 100% all the time because it should always be on. If you're using the one for the part cooling fan, that's pulse width modulation output, and that can be varied. So that could be where you're running into the issue. Okay, it should work then. And no Ender, it's dead at the moment. Stole parchment. Okay. Yeah, well, it's G code you're outputting for that, but you need to make sure you're using the right port for it to work. It's a bit hard to diagnose when I'm not hands-on, but it's more than likely it's probably the way it's set up there and your G code is set up, and you make sure you set your percentages good, and you do a gradient rather than a normal, like a Jarvis or whatever, because Jarvis is too blocky. Okay, let's get this one done. Second burn, and we can do a comparison. Actually, I'm going to do it on a different board so we can do a side by side. And I'm going to drop the power of this one. So let me make sure the focus is still good. Yeah, same material, so the focus is still good. And I'm going to do a frame of this again to make sure I'm in a good spot. Okay, that's good. So, and I'm going to change, the last one was very, very dark. If you remember, it was really, really dark. So I'm going to change the settings a little bit. And I'm going to speed it up at the same setting, but I'm going to make it move faster. And instead of 800, I'm going to bring it up to 1200. Let's see what it's easier to see. At 60%, that should be good. Number of passes 1. I'm not doing any cut through, so we're good there. Perforation mode, no, we're not going to do that. So we're good on all of those settings, I think. Yeah, we're good. So I dropped this, I increased the speed, but it's slowing down the, I left the same 60%. So let's hit OK. And we'll do start. And it's set at line, okay. Sorry, these glasses are really dark in comparison to some of the green ones I have, so start. Yeah, let's continue anyway. Okay, so it's burning at a faster speed. So I thought, going by how dark this was, I thought we could get away with a little darker speed. And so let me do the 2-1 with the close-up as the main screen so you can see better. And I'm going to come around and put the glasses up to see if it helps your view. You can see it's burning. There's a lot of intricate detail in this. I need to get one of these and get a proper filter for over my camera so I can flip it up and down. But it's working. So I'm not looking at the laser right now. So what does it say? Congo sent me a diode laser for the industry was able to get any software. Yeah, well, Laser Gurgle is really good. It works really well, and it works for most. It works for most G-code lasers, like the $40 version. There is an $80 version of Laser Gurgle, which is for higher end machines, which is not G-code based. But most of these diode lasers, the smaller desktop ones, are they're diode based lasers. So let's see how it's going. Detail's good. Any other questions? As I said, it's a nice desktop laser. It's very portable. It's easy to move around. I haven't found anything wrong with it. I kind of, the only thing I'd probably do, I would like a cover over the front area here. And I don't know what other safety features it has. That's my puppy saying hi to somebody who's coming to the door. It seems like a 5-power. Let me see, Stephen. I just seems like a 5-power. Its lightest burn can get an 8% seems to be its max. That sounds off because 8% doesn't seem to be its max because using that fan it's 0 to 255. And any percentage in between is actually percentage of that 0 to 255 because that's how the fan speed is controlled from 0 to 255. A TPU cover. Well, you could do. I wouldn't do TPU. It needs an acrylic cover like these glasses are made of acrylic. Acrylic blocks UV rays. So that's why the glasses are made out of acrylic. Now for the CO2 laser, it's different. Again, it's made out of acrylic, but it's a different grade acrylic. Sorry, there's a bit of smoke in the air. Anyone says these don't smoke, obviously are wrong. And they do create smoke, and I do not have a great ventilation system in this basement, because so this is going to be my second part, but the output seems to be okay. I like the quality of it, and it's nice, it's small, it's mobile, and it runs from laser grubber for a lot of people. Like there is a or what's it called? There is a free version of Gerbil software out there. I think it's called Laser Gerbil. Not like other than Lightburn, there is a free version that's called Laser Gerbil, which you could also use. That does that will control any Gerbil-based board, and it's free. It's open source, so you can go that route, or you can pay the $40 for Lightburn. I'm a fan of Lightburn. I like using it. I use Lightburn for a couple of my lasers, and it gets really good quality. It never fails me. Sometimes I will prep something in other software first before bringing it into Lightburn, depending on what the image is and what I'm doing. But Lightburn has always done really well. And for a 1620, for something that can fit on your desk, and you can do something slightly bigger than an A4 sheet of paper, it's doing a good job. It's not a bad machine. And it has a port. I'll show you when this is done. There's a port here on the back for an offline controller. Now this makes me think that it is the same type of board they use on their small CNC machines. I don't have one of the Jinmitsu, the SainSmart Jinmitsu CNCs, but I know a guy who does. He's not on chat right now, but I will talk with him and see what is the model of his board. I suspect, because they're all Gerbil, they're all, and it's basically G-code, and CNC, the only difference between CNC and laser engraving, CNC has a Z-axis. That's really the only difference, right? Higher, slightly more torque, and a Z-axis. So I'm going to reach out to, I'll talk with Tim. If I don't speak to him today, I know he'll be on stream. He has a stream on Sunday night. So he has a stream tomorrow night. And I'll just message him at D with 3D. He might even be on the stream with Jerry's stream this afternoon. I'll reach out, I'll ask Tim about if he can look at the board on his machine and give me the model number off the board. I suspect they're the same board because they're basically doing the same function. And if it is, then great, because it's all interchangeable. If you have other devices and it breaks, you can always go switch out boards for whatever you're using right now. You do have to do a little bit of programming on the board about size, dimensions, and so on, but that's not hard. And if you want to know where you see those, actually let me just put something up here while I take out my glasses, because I can't really see the screen with the glasses on. So this is blocking the light from the laser. If you go to File, or go to Edit, Machine Settings, and this will actually pull the settings out of the machine. Oh, sorry, wrong. Edit, Device Settings, and it'll pull the settings out of the machine, and you can actually go in and change some of the settings here for your board. Oh, that's screaming a lot of smoke. One second, guys. I don't have an extractor fan, so I'm just gonna do this for now. It's almost done anyway. So the TPU cover, I was worried about a TPU cover because TPU would insulate it. Something that just barely goes around the outside, that clips onto the fan, onto the laser, doesn't slide. That would actually just block the laser light. I wouldn't like, because you must remember, the whole cooling system, the whole laser unit is made out of aluminum, and it's done that way because it is a heat sink for the laser. And I wouldn't want to insulate that, because if you insulate that, you're actually causing the laser to retain heat that it's trying to dissipate, and that can cause it to overheat and cause problems. It will end up burning out faster. So I would check on that. I wouldn't go TPU. I would say something that loosely clips on, that blocks the light coming from around the laser beam, yet it allows the system to cool. Because if you're blocking up too much of that heatsink, you could be causing a problem. That's why there's a fan on top. It's actually blowing air down through the heatsink to carry away the heat generated by the laser. I think we're near the end. It's a nice quiet little machine actually. It's really quiet. You can hear the axis moving, but it's not that loud. And if you're doing cutting, it doesn't have any... If you want to cut material, one, definitely do it outdoors because it'll create a lot of smoke. Because this can cut. Whew, okay. This can cut. A lot of smoke in here. Okay. Right. So, this can cut. So if you're going to do cutting on this, I would recommend that you do cutting and you rig up some form of air assist. You get an air pump of some form and rig something up with a tubing that comes off it to your air pump, or a compressor if you have one. Because, and if you put it down the side and aim in its, and the air is aiming where the cutting is happening, it actually makes the cutting better. So an air assist, even though you probably won't do a lot of cutting with this, you can, and an air assist of some form, forced air down into where the laser is actually burning, actually makes it cut faster, deeper, and it cleans out the chaff, the leftover burnt material as the laser goes, if you have enough air pressure to blow it out. That way then the laser is not trying to cut through stuff it's already burnt. So let's have a look at the output. Actually, that's nice. There's no, it's not very deep, which is what I was aiming for, with a higher speed. So let's put these side by side, and then we go up to full screen, close-up camera, and you'll see these side by side. So the one and the rows was done with a slower speed of 800 at 60%, and you can actually feel there's a groove there. And the one under the circular one, the circular floral pattern or leaf pattern is done on at 1,200 speed and a 60% power. Now, when you're cutting, you'll cut much slower, down to about I'm guessing 50 or 20 millimeters a second, or millimeters a minute, and be really slow at a higher power. Again, depending on what you're cutting, like if you're doing like plywood or something like that. But let's go back here. So the output is actually quite good. It's easy. It's accurate. There's a little bit of an indentation. You expect some part better than this, but it came out really nice. The deeper cut rows came out really nice. I will do some images with it. I'll do some. This is called raster or this is vector engraving. This type of engraving, we're engraving the outline of something. In Lightburn, they call it line or fill. Line is what is vector engraving. Infill area, which passes over and back and creates lines and burns and fills in the area, and that's called raster engraving. So I will do some raster or fill engraving with it. Not in here, obviously, because it'll create a lot of smoke. But I'll do it outside, somewhere that's way more ventilated. But it's small, it's light. Let me turn it off. It's not even warm after being running for a while, so it's done a couple of burns and it's done a good job. So the heat sinks on it work. Safety glasses are a must with any laser, but it's easy to use. It's very portable. It's super portable. Let me unplug these. So you can move it as is easily in a box or whatever you want. As I said, they do have guides online for settings to use for different types of materials. Some recommendations, but again, it will vary a little bit based on the material that you're actually using. So, solid pine will be different than plywood. Teak would be, or some other hardwoods would require either slower movement or higher settings. I rarely would run a laser at 100%. You can, but I rarely would. I'd like to try. I'd rather slow down the speed and then go too high in the power. That's my personal preference. It just gives better life to the laser, because lasers will eventually burn out. Yeah, they came out really nice, Jason. I was really happy. So safety glasses always. Now, I would also recommend, if you do get a laser, you buy more than one pair. So one pair will come with the laser. If you have family members who are going to come into the room while you're using the laser, get more than one pair of glasses. The reason why is anybody who's in the room can be subject to the reflective light from the laser burning. And so I would always recommend having more than one pair. I have 3 or 4 of the green ones. This is my first red set, and they are a very dark red. They're much darker than the green ones are. But they're all comfortable to wear, and they're all about protecting your eyes, right? So it's not about comfort, but they do work, and they help protect your eyes. I wouldn't spend hours staring at the laser either, and use it wherever somewhere ventilated. But from initial out of the box, it's a nice machine. I will push it. I will see over the next few days. I'm going to push it to see how hard how fast I can burn at different settings. I will try some light cutting, not a lot, but I will try some light cutting. I do. If I want to cut, I have a CO2 laser for cutting, but I will try some very light cutting. With the models that they gave, like the SainSmart model that they gave there. Block laser so animals can't see it. Yes, I agree, Jerry. It's not only human eyes, it's animal eyes. Like my dog is locked away is upstairs. Like, this is my basement. My dog is locked upstairs. My dog cannot see anything that's in this room. And when it is running, like if I'm doing it, like when I'm doing it in the garage or whatever, she's never out there. I never allow my dog out with me when I'm doing lasering at any time, because the UV light, and the intensity of the UV light while it's burning will damage eyes. Right. So never have animals around. Never cut PVC. Never cut vinyl with lasers ever. They're not designed for that. This is a safety warning. If you're doing leathers, make sure you're out there somewhere very, very well ventilated, because you can laser engrave leather with this. It stinks because you're burning leather. It does have a really strong smell, but it can do it. These can actually engrave leather materials. The range of travel on this is pretty good. So you can actually up to anything that does not touch the underside of this, you can burn, right? So you can actually adjust it, or you can always just prop this up on something higher if you needed the extra height. Okay, 2 boxes or whatever on each side. But whatever it is, make sure it's something stable, because as these axes move, especially at speed, it's going to shake whatever's underneath it. So whatever you put it on, like a wooden blocks or whatever, make sure they're pretty stable so it doesn't rock around so much. Otherwise, you'll get up all jaggedy edges on your engraving, and you won't get a nice clean setup like these, which came out really well. So, if anybody have any questions? So if you burn outside, well, no. Chances are it's not going to really affect birds that much. The reason why is the light diffuses over distance, right? So the further away you get from something, the more diffuse it, the less effect it's going to have. So if a bird is 100 feet away and the laser is burning, if they're staring at the laser, okay, there's low chance of it hurting their eyes, because the light will diffuse over distance. If you have a bird in a cage and he's perched right beside you while they're burning, you're going to damage the animal's eyes. Chances are, if they're looking at it, right? And your own eyes if you're not wearing safety glasses. Okay, so always wear safety glasses and keep animals away. And kids, keep them away from lasers. If they're doing anything with lasers, they wear glasses and they maintain a distance. And one other point: never leave a laser unattended. Right? I don't know. I haven't gone through the safety features that are in this yet. On what options, what they are. I haven't tested out tilting or whatever like that. But if you tilt it, will it still fire? I don't know. I haven't tested here, but I will. Outside where it's safe, right? So somewhere that's safer. And if it does, like, you have to be careful that nobody knocks it over, because now you're firing a laser beam off into open air when someone's walking by. The same goes for if the motor dies while it's burning. These are reasons why you never leave a laser unattended. If let's say a stepper motor died, right, while it's burning, and this this head doesn't move and the laser stays on, it's going to keep burning and burning and burning and burning and start a fire. So never leave lasers unattended. Always wear safety glasses. These are I like to say they're common sense precautions, but common sense is not very common. I tend to find, so that's why I reiterate over again. Glasses, never unattended. Always stay with it, even if it takes 2 hours for your job to run. you stay there and you keep everyone else and pets away from it while it's running. Okay, always be safe. If it's in an enclosure, it's a little different. You still have to stay by it in case of fire, in case anything goes wrong, and the laser keeps burning and the axis is not moving and starts a fire. But at least then everyone around it is shielded. But you still have to always watch it. Never leave the room while the laser's on, and never have kids around that are not wearing protective glasses, and make sure they're not anywhere near it, because all they have to do is look at it without the glasses and they could hurt their eyes and knock it over, and it could cause other problems. Alright? So that is the Jinsoku LE-1620. It works, and it works out of the box. It's an easy assembly. So if anyone has any, hey Dum Dum Dev, it's a cool little machine, yeah, and it gives some nice little results here. We just burned these too, so you're a bit late to the party, but we did some burning on these and they came out really nice. Different settings on each one. Is a faster burn than the other. This is slower, this is faster, but it came out nice results for a small, and it's on MDF, but I will try it on other materials. As I said, the link to this is in below. I am not an affiliate of SainSmart, but this is the machine, so obviously I have a link down to it. They are having their 10th anniversary sale. I think you can pick this up. I need to double. Let me. Now that I'm here. Let me check out one thing. I didn't check out their sale price of this machine, so let me have a quick look at their sale price. And I'll bring it up on screen, so just give me a second. See, they have a back to school of 15% off as well on items. Nice. Sorry, I just saw it really soon. They're offering up some good deals. So this machine right now is, where is it? I'm just going to find it on their store, so give me one moment. The bandwidth's being used by my streaming, so my internet connectivity is suffering a little bit. So this machine right now is on sale for $299 on their website. It's on their website. And that's a bundle sale that includes, I believe includes Lightburn. And that's a 5.5 watt laser. So it's a good, not bad price for a machine with a 5.5 watt laser that can cut and burn, and it does a good job. So I'm happy with it. It's a useful little machine. It's very, very super portable. So you can bring it pretty much anywhere and work. So any other questions? Dum Dum, you came in very late. You missed out all the fun of what we were doing burning. I know everybody likes to watch lasers burn, and you missed out on it today. And their instruction manual of assembly is good. There is online instructions that they have out there about settings. I think they link to that here actually. And you can buy materials from them, but you can use pretty much any material, any wood, wooden blocks or whatever. Just make sure the material is dry. So, and no questions before we wrap things up. I think we've been streaming for about, what is it now? Oh, it's an hour and a half. So it's really fast because there's no real assembly involved. Now, what I will say, again, one last shout out to IC3D and the US Marine Reserves for doing the Toys for Tots. If you're not in it for this year, consider signing up for it next year because you have printers, we can use it, and it's US based only. Sorry guys, but you can actually, we commit. It's about giving back to those who are underprivileged, who they have toys for Christmas, and I showed some earlier on at the beginning of the stream. So make sure you go check out IC3D's website and maybe consider signing up for next year. It's a good program. and they provide the materials for you to print with. So, nice little printer, nice little laser, works really well. Nice, small, compact, easy, portable. I will run it through its paces over the next few days, and I'll put together a review on it and show some videos of it doing various different tasks. But all in all, it's a nice little, easy to set up machine. Anyone can set this up. I think you don't need a lot of experience. You just need to learn the software. So it's easy enough to use. Any questions? Any last comments or anyone's input on what they saw, what they think of the laser? Nothing? Please feel free to chime in before we wrap up. If we'll try and run it for the next, we'll wait a few more minutes, and if nobody has any input, then we'll move on. And don't forget, Jerry's having a live stream at 1 p.m. 3D printing and painting on his channel. So go his hangout. So go join his hangout. Now, if FedEx are true to what they say on their website, fingers crossed. If FedEx are true to what they say on their website, come Tuesday, hopefully, I will have my CR10 Smart Wheel be delivered, and next weekend, same time, same place, we will do a live unboxing and setup of the CR10 Smart, which should be a fun one. That's coming from Banggood, and I actually won it on their stream. I actually entered the competition, and I won it under their live stream with Creality when they were promoting all of their new printers at the anniversary of Creality. So I have that coming next week, hopefully Tuesday, and if it does, I will set up a live stream. And I also do hangouts on Wednesday on my channel at 7 p.m. US Eastern. So if you want to come and hang out with me, do a maker hangout, everyone's welcome to come along. Don't forget to, guys, like, subscribe, and ding that bell so you get notified when I do go live and do bring you more content. The more people who subscribe, the more people who follow me, the more content I can bring to you. Also, if you want to help the channel, below in the links below, you have some. You have my Patreon. You have my my PayPal, and also if you just want to buy me a coffee, you can have that link down there too. You give some donations towards the channel, and there's also some affiliate links down there that if you want to buy through one of the affiliates, I get a tiny amount. It's not much, actually. It's only pennies really, but it all comes back to help the channel and actually help bring you content. So if there's no final questions, and it doesn't seem to be, everyone's been shy this morning. Normally I'm flooded with questions, but everyone's shy. But check out the SainSmart, the 1620, the LE-1620 cantilever style 5.5 watt laser. It's a nice little machine. It works. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's fun as always, and I hope that I hope to see you on Wednesday at my hangout, and if not, I'll hope to see you next Saturday for my next live unboxing, if it comes in on as planned on Tuesday, if FedEx get it here on time and in one piece, and if not, you might be on Jerry's hangout this afternoon at 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 4 p.m. US Eastern time this afternoon. So at 3D printing and painting. If that's all, guys, I hope you have a good day. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, stay printing, and stay burning. Thank you, and have a good weekend.